Hello and welcome to Paper Tuesdays. Michael Boyer and Marek Halpin, and today we have a very special guest on the podcast. It's Michael Boyer, who is a serial triathlete now. So Michael, you done your triathlon this morning?
Yeah.
Talk us through it then. How did it go?
Yeah, it was great. I'm still kind of on the high of it, so it's you feel so grateful after it. I don't know why. It's a weird sensation. I suppose it's just elated emotion or whatever. Yeah. But it was a different one because the last one was back in Christmas and I did it with Connor Mack and yeah, like having the social encouragement was a lot easier. The whole lot, like there was such a high after coming out of the water because you were my lifeguard today, and then you realized, oh no, you have to cycle on your own and you've your own thoughts and you have to stay with it. Yeah. But it's just, I know people are full of the news feeds are full with exercise, but like the natural highs of life are just, they're so worthwhile. Like I don't know about you, like you get it from weights, Mark. I get it from this type of endurance. You can't quit really. That sort of attitude, attitude and character building event, that like they're just so powerful. So I'd highly recommend them to anyone. So.
And did you hit any walls? Like, was there any point where you thought, geez, maybe I might not?
The bike today was, now you're wondering if you're making excuses, but like the bike, I may invest in a proper bike. I have a mountain bike. Well, it's actually my father's mountain bike, and it wasn't fit for the course today because the wind. I don't know, the cycle just was tougher. But then maybe that was because I had the seawater swim, so the sea swim, and can we talk about that moment, Mark? When I came out of the ocean, Mark, and I roared at you, Mark, my calf! I think it's my calf. My calf.
But it was terrifying from my part, because not because I thought you were in any danger or anything. It's because I this was about 2/3 of the way through, I'd say. You came out, and I was after walking. I walked alongside you while you swam, and it was a nice leisurely stroll, and it was really quiet. There was no one else on the beach, and I was wandering around, sort of looking at you, and it was quiet and relaxing. And you're obviously in the sea, trashing waves. Your heart is pounding. You're under pressure, and you come out of the sea screaming, "Mark! Mark!" And I went in, what? And you had your goggles on, so you're all swollen around your face, and your eyes were all red, and you were just staring at me like half. Like half. And I was like, what? And he's like, I think I pulled it. I was like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And it was terrifying. But it was fun, like. But it was great to be there and to watch it. It was very I was blown away by how far you could actually swim. Right. I had no idea anyone could swim that far. Yeah. Just because you hear people swim this far, but like I walked up and back with you, and I was tired from the walk, and you were swimming in the sea against the current for the first half. Yeah. And like it was just amazing, like to see that you do that, and then the fact that you're going to do a 40k cycle and a 10k run after that is crazy. Like, yeah. And I know last week you were talking about like the human being or whatever, and it's true when you see it in action. It's fucking crazy to think that people can do that, and like you done it this morning yourself. You know firsthand what it's like to do that, and it's possible.
It's one of those events that I also like because I didn't have headphones there. You connect more to the present moment, and you have to remind yourself more, because that's something that I've been conscious of recently, that maybe thinking too much in the future and not connecting with the present. And like you have to get through the 10k run, you have to just focus on putting one foot in front of the other, and that's this whole part. You can't overthink or anything. There's a bit of freedom in that. But no, it was just funny. I think that calf memory will live long in the memory because from my perspective, why was I roaring at Mark? Like he didn't have a spare calf that he could give me.
Was great, and there's more to come. Then you reckon you're gonna?
Oh yeah, and I highly recommend Mark Halpin Fitness, and because it's about putting in the work every week as well, and that's what I thoroughly enjoyed, because that is a high point after 12 weeks of building up the legs of the runs and the cycles. So I know people can do exercise on their own, but the huge difference for me is the variety and the consistency, because when you get your workout one, you have to do it, and one or two, it's probably going to be a bit different. So you know, it changes it up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something else I was going. Oh yeah, so yeah, Mark had my fitness, and uh, when I finished the triathlon, I had a bowl of porridge, and it's my brother's birthday today. Happy birthday, Keane!
Happy birthday.
And we got a cake from RK Cakes and Bakes, and I had a big slice of the chocolate biscuit cake at 11:30, and I didn't give a flying.
Yeah, still in a deficit. Yeah, so that's another shout out we may give.
Yeah,
Roisin.
Cakes are unbelievable. I highly recommend.
Yeah, something else that my family is flogging.
Yeah, they really complement each other. You know.
Yeah. So follow that on Instagram at RK Cakes and Bakes.
And Mark Hadfield Fitness. So now, this is a fitting parish of the week. So the parish of the week, Mark, is Down, which is in West Cork, and it's a parish of rowers. And they have listed out. This is a great article altogether. It's a true sign of local journalism. Ciarán McCarthy from in the Southern Star has a look at how one parish has produced really an amazing list of rowers. And he has all their townlands. So you have the O'Donovan brothers, of course. They're the notable ones. They're from Lisheen. Then you have Teddy O'Donovan. He introduced Gary and Paul to rowing and was their first coach. And then you can see this here, Mark. I have a list as long. This is all from the one parish. Wow. And all of these people won national titles, worked as a coach. And it's just... so apparently this one incredible parish was a conveyor belt to Skibbereen Rowing Club. And so Down Parish apparently is reinforcing the idea that came forward from a sports science professor in Canada, who cited a number of reasons why small towns can provide the ideal breeding ground for top-class sports people, and why people born in a small town have a better chance of reaching the top of their sport compared to people from a big city. So isn't that incredible?
Why does he think that? Why do you think? Because it's a close-knit community and they all go rowing or something together?
I think, yeah, that's a good question. It's a long article, and I didn't, that didn't jump out at me, but I think it's the local camaraderie of it all and tradition, passing that flame on to the next generation. But the parish has a strong connection to the water. So, you know, it goes into the mystical stuff as well. The idea that the river is on one side and the roaring water bay on the other side. And so that's another example. But I'd recommend the article. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to check it out there, because Robbie puts it in our show notes. So
somewhere here.
Yeah. So yeah, that's quite the story, and fair play to Down. They deserve parish of the week, don't they, man?
Big namaste.
Huge namaste. All the way to West Cork.
Yeah. Namaste to James Flood, whose back is better, but he got a tooth pulled.
Oh.
So James is under constant medical supervision.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So this is in the Enniscorthy Guardian, and Dr. George Leslie is a doctor in Slaney Medical Centre, and he says people do not care about the small things as much nowadays. He thinks that people are complaining less, and he says that is a real sign of gratitude from people. And people are, and he says it's time when people are beginning to take a look at their lives. I think people are reevaluating what is important, and that is positive. And he says that there are a number of alcohol-related illnesses, even though the pandemic issues... Yeah,
we'll be right back.
So apparently, this is a bit of a contradiction. I would have thought the opposite, but he says that alcohol-related illnesses have reduced during the pandemic. Interesting.
Well, you can't go to the pub and there's not as much binge drinking, I suppose.
Right.
It's people drinking at home. Like, you're not going to... It's not the same, is it? Like, you're not going to be doing shots at home in your sitting room.
Right.
Getting in bar fights or...
Yeah, but I would never have connected like a string of shots on a Saturday night to a GP visit the following Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Alcohol poisoning, liver poisoning, things like that happens a lot.
Okay.
People drink too much, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
I just like the idea that this GP is able to say that people are complaining less. I don't know. Are they?
My thought here, right, is
Right.
I've thought this before. Is that not a subjective view? Is it not the people he's looking at are complaining less? Is it not the people because he's complaining less? He's spending time with people who complain less, and now he's just saying that's everybody.
Yeah, it's two. Yeah, very true. Two things from that stand out. First of all, maybe they're more grateful because they think he might have a role in them getting a vaccine. You know?
Maybe, yeah.
So,
yeah.
oh yeah, Dr. George. I'll go mad, Dr. George. And then the second thing is maybe that's just, it is subjective, but it's probably subjective for us all, Mark. I read somewhere recently that, you know, we are constantly making stories. And when you make stories, you leave out, even when I was recounting the triathlon there, you leave out bits of information that may have a bearing on it, but you just leave them out because you don't think you're relevant. So you're constantly packaging your own experience. And so I think that's related as well. Just that, you know, by the nature of the human being, that your story is, everyone's story is going to be different.
I changed my story because COVID ended for me last week. Do you remember I told
you? I woke up to a text message from Mark to say that COVID was over.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I no longer acknowledge its existence. So, congratulations, everyone. Welcome to the new world where there's no more COVID and we just forget about it. Move on with our lives.
And was it a point of exhaustion that drove you to this point, Mark?
Yeah, it was. Okay. No, I still wear a mask. I'm not an anti-masker. And COVID does exist. No, COVID did exist. No, it was after spending a day in the van listening to news talk, and it's just vaccine, and why don't we have the vaccines? And why are the vaccines bad? And next, cancer and vaccines. Just a little palate cleanser, you fucking arsehole. Jesus Christ, talking about something else.
Okay, we will. Electric scooters, Mark.
And I hope News Talk reach out now after this and offer us a segment.
Electric scooters.
I seen a lad in Gorey yesterday bombing it down this main street.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, faster than a motorbike would go down the main street. And like, how are they illegal? No helmet, nothing on them. Yeah. And like, if you fall off that, you're fucked. Like, you've no helmet. Like, you're going 30 miles an hour, I'd say. And you look ridiculous. That's just sidebar there. But do you believe in it?
Do I believe in them?
Yeah.
Do you believe I knew skulls. God. Electric scooters. I believe in electric scooters.
You're a sheep, man. You're a sheep. Lorcan Allen wants you to believe in electric scooters.
So, sorry, do you want them banned? Do you want them, what do you want?
Regulated, I'd say.
All right,
yeah,
okay. There are plans for that, I think. Yeah, all right. So you want,
helmets, speed limits.
Right.
Segregation. Those who use electric scooters, we put them on a farm somewhere and let them go around the fucking farm. Like, could you not just walk? The laziness. Those and the segways, like people using things other than walking to walk.
But like, in fairness, like, can't you get bikes now that are basically, you know, they have a motor in them, so you know, you get an extra push. So
I know a fellow who has one. He goes around Arklow on it, and it's huge, and it brings him up the main street. Nobody doesn't have to pedal. And Arklow, you know, it's like a big main street upwards like that. Yeah.
But then, is it because that he's using a bike that it doesn't bother us, but because this is some scooter and we associate scooters with children and new stuff? And who are you? Are you from Space Age or something?
Yeah, you should be allowed to push them off, really. It should be legislation.
That's a fair consensus. The win-win-win situation I just had, and is it morally viable? This is going to be good, Mark.
Okay, so I bought supplements from a crowd in England. I'm not going to give the name, so I can't be held liable. But they sent me a package, or they didn't send it. It took 3 weeks. I sent them an email saying I never got it. Yeah. They said, sorry, by our system, you got that 2 weeks ago. And I sent that email completely honestly. I don't have this. And they were like, we will reship it. That's what they said. You're supposed to have it 2 weeks ago. We will reship it. Later that day, I received the package. Now it was broke up and shite. It was all the what's called tape and all was ripped off it. But instead of reordering, I just let them send out the package again to get it for free. And then I used that money. It cost me, the thing cost me €60. I donated €50 to PA House instead of paying for those extra supplements. So I get my next month of supplements for free, but I donated the money I would have spent, but most of it to charity instead. So am I in the wrong or right here? Should I have paid for my supplements? Because the win-win here is I win, I get lots of supplements, and money goes to charity, but the company is losing money, and I probably should have told it. Which is morally more right? Is it morally more right for me to give money to charity, or is it morally more right for me to give that money to the people who sent me the supplements in the first place? Now, it was 2 weeks late and damaged when I got it.
Interesting. I don't know.
Contract law I'm probably breaking, I'd say.
Probably. But
so are they.
Yeah.
They were late.
Yeah. Like I got a box of that kombucha, and I had cancelled my subscription, and I sent them an email, but they haven't responded. So I'm not going to pay them until they respond. So I don't know if that's, again, there's a little bit of that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy that you've given money to an Irish charity, and I'm not going to report you to the guards anyway, Mark. But you sleep well at night anyway.
I do, yeah, very well. Yeah.
I know. I think it is morally viable, but then again, I'd be inclined that way. Do you still put tape on your mouth at night?
This was another TTP I actually told you about. So I do tape my mouth shut at night, and I tape my mouth shut and I wear a fluffy eye mask. So yes, I am single. And it gets worse because I asked my mother to pick me up the tape to put on my mouth. Yeah. And this is what she got me.
Oh, you have it? Oh, yeah. Very good. Oh my gosh, it looks worse in real life.
So it's duct tape with pink unicorns on it. And that's what I sleep with at night. I'll try to see if I can rip some off and give you.
I've never tried putting duct tape on my mouth. I
have to admit that. No. That's what I do every night. I put duct tape on.
Why? Well, sellotape works as well. So why?
Let's find a sturdier.
Sturdier. Okay. Welcome to Paper Chews.
I tried to talk there with that on. So this is what I look like at night. Is this?
Yeah.
I keep trying to talk with it on. Then I have a fluffy eye mask like that, and the eye mask has like ladies' eyelashes on it here because I got that from my mother as well. So yeah, if you see me on Tinder, swipe left.
That's gas. Actually, speaking of another, so you're saying, do you notice any benefits or differences? Or
yeah, my jawline. For some reason, I don't know if that's conducive to whatever. It could just be different things. I'm doing more weightlifting or whatever, but I definitely have stronger facial features than I did before I started. Because I don't wear it during. I just breathe it through my mouth when I said that, but it helps me not breathe through my mouth during the day, and I think that helps keep my face intact. Keeps my jaw structured. Do you notice any difference?
Not explicitly, but you do. More often than not, you have a better night's sleep.
Yeah, you
like you have a deep. You wake up feeling refreshed, like you've had a fresh summer. So yeah. I sent you a video of this lad, and he was paying. He must have been in India somewhere, and he was paying for birds to be freed. I just found the whole incident a bit mad.
Then your man was going along with it. He was taking the money and freeing a bird.
Yeah.
So this fella is in his car, and the other Indian man is holding like a bag of doves, and your man in the car is giving him like money one at a time to buy a bird. Every time he buys a bird, your man hands him a bird. He lets it go like that. And it's crazy. And fuck, I seen something about these dancing bears in India as well. You see that? No. It's very sad. But yeah, if you look up the dancing bears of India on Google or YouTube, it's like these fellas in India, and on the side of the road they have these black bears, and they like put a hole through the bear's snout and tie a rope through it, and then tie the knot so it goes out their nostril or in and around, and they're held like that. They like shake the bears. The bears are like declawed. They take their teeth out, their claws out, make them dance on the side of the road in India, and people like give them money on the side of the road for making the bear dance. It's really, really sad. But there's documentary. I think they've stopped doing it altogether now because I think it was one of these WHO or some animal company came and gave money. They donated a load of money to the bear handlers to educate them so they could get better jobs, and then they got the bears, put them in rehabilitation. The bears look better now. A lot of them, well, obviously a lot of them died previously, but the people don't need to be bear dancing handlers anymore because people from this organization gave them better lives.
Oh, that's
Which is
interesting.
interesting, yeah. It's
Yeah.
a different way to look at it rather than saying, you're bad, you're evil. Like these are
Yeah.
poor people that have no other option
Mm.
than to unfortunately exploit these bears. And now the
Yeah.
situation is finished, I think.
Yeah.
But it's really sad. It's really sad to look at the bears and the state they were in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to know, how do you reckon each of us would fare in prison if we were about, say, I'll go first, okay?
Right.
So if I fared in prison, now I haven't thought about this before, so this is completely off the bat. I think I would do okay, right? It depends how long I was in there. But I'd be fairly good at keeping my head down, I'd say. And I'd be fairly good at befriending the officers, but not so much so that it annoys the other inmates. So that's the kind of where you want to be, isn't it? You want to be middle of the road. Nobody likes you too much, but nobody dislikes you either. You're just like furniture.
What do you think the biggest challenge of being in prison is?
Oh, the showers.
Oh.
The boredom.
Right.
I'd say.
I'd say no. You'd hear of often like there'd be courses and all that. But more power to them. Like if it results in prisoners leaving prison and not recommitting. Or, yeah. I think the biggest challenge would be other inmates.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were on your own, then you could kind of get by. But if you
the other inmates. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean by how would you fare? Like how would you get on with the other inmates? How would you fare in prison, do you think?
Yeah, well that's the biggest thing. I'd have to double think everything I say. I think, you know.
I think you would get a job.
A job in prison?
Yeah. You would do like the finances for inmates for like a fee or something. Or protection.
Yeah, yeah.
You would like find the illiterate people and you'd write letters to their family.
Yeah.
And they in turn wouldn't stab you.
Yeah.
Or they'd protect you.
Oh,
and you'd be like there. You probably haven't seen this, but in Malcolm in the Middle, there's a episode where Hal, the father, goes to like this gym or like this outdoor gym where all these muscle-bound men are like lifting weights and stuff, and they're really stupid. And he does stuff like that for them, and they become his army, and he gets them to like his car breaks down, and they carry his car to work for him. That's like you'd be like Hal.
Oh, that'd be great to have that social camaraderie or something. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, you'd have your own gang of merry men.
Yeah.
Doing your deeds.
I think so. Be some experiment, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I would like to get to know a prisoner. I would like to
an ex or a current one.
Either.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
I'd say it's so challenging to know if someone is going to, you know, avoid recommitting
someone's intentions.
Yeah.
Do you know Robert Greene, the author? He was an advisor to Ryan Holiday, who writes all this stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
He wrote a book that's not allowed in prison called The 48 Laws of Power, because it teaches power dynamics and it actually works. So they don't allow it in prisons because it was happening a lot and people were getting killed. So they don't allow that book in libraries.
Oh, right, interesting.
Apparently so.
Yeah. Maths as a child, Mark.
Yeah, what was your experience of maths? You obviously enjoyed it because you still go. So
yeah, do you know what was funny? The only thing that was I think myself and my siblings learned how to read from the maths leave.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So do you think that was out of boredom of what the priest was saying, or was it sort of you were reading along with it?
Well, could have been a mixture of both, yeah.
I hated maths.
Really?
Hated it. It was so boring. Like it was like aerobics for the dying. You just sort of stand up, sit down, kneel. Really slow Pilates. I know I didn't.
It's because there was a lack of connection. Like I remember actually being a child, and but now it was around 12 or 13, and there was an announcement to say, you know, if your child is crying, you can leave the church. And I didn't like that now.
No? Wait, no, was that sort of you can leave, or was it you can leave?
Kind of mixture of both. It was like you're making an awful racket when you just go outside.
Yeah, you should leave.
Yeah.
Like it was sort of. Is it a you have to do it thing? That's why you don't enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I think it's because sometimes it's overcomplicated. I remember actually being at mass there, I don't know, a year or two ago, and it was the first communion class, and the message was to them all was just that, you know, love is the most important thing. And you know, if you strip back all the rules and just try to say things like that, it would
Yeah.
make people lead better lives than.
What's a Corinthian? And St. John said to the apostles of the Corinthians, "Go forth to the holly bush and pick me the berries." Amen. Go forth and spread the word of the holly bush. Oh.
Did you ever like I don't know, did you ever well I do look forward to hopefully you might get to a wedding in India this December. One of Ashton's workmates is getting married in India and we're invited.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going headhunting for staff.
Hello. Broke keyboard. But I look forward to seeing how they celebrate the divine within them, and you know, whatever, I don't know what they do, temples or whatever, like that interests me.
And like, is it in Delhi?
No, I think it's southwestern part of India. I forget the name of the area now.
Completely different world. They have the second, third biggest population, do they?
Yeah, second. Yeah.
Isn't it weird how we think everyone is white? Like, obviously we don't. We know these people are there, but like, they obviously, there's parts of the world where if people see a white man, they're like, "Oh my god," like, or like a ginger person. Whereas we see them all the time here.
Yeah.
But we just assume that most of the world is white because most of who we see is white. But that's not the case.
Another interesting thing to do with that is language. I didn't realize that apparently in the East, communication is a lot different because we're more verbal here in the West than in the East, and we've Chris in the waiting room, so we'll park this thought.
Our guest today on the podcast is Chris Proby, who is he's actually a good friend of my brother Michael's, but he has a fairly interesting story. He was on Dermot and Dave recently speaking about it. He's been in a few articles online if you look him up. But first of all, Michael, would you have any questions to start with Chris, or where would you like to begin?
Yeah, Chris, thanks a million for joining us. And
no worries.
Chris, can you take us back and tell us about that day when you were just out running and a ball struck your leg?
Yeah, it's just one of those really unusual stories where you just couldn't write it. But I had only just ran the Manchester Marathon a couple of months before, and I was training for my sub 3 hour marathon, which I had booked for October that year. And I think it was the middle of June 2015. I was training with Sports World Running Club up in Bushy Park in Dublin. And there was about 20 to 30 of us just on one of the normal training sessions. And the loop we were doing goes around a couple of football pitches. There were a few lads playing football, and one of the lads accidentally smashed the ball sideways, made a hash of it. And it actually came and hit me in the leg full force. I think he was trying to score a goal or something like that. And it just absolutely smashed off my left leg while we were running around doing our training session. I actually didn't think anything of it. Thought nothing of it at all, just apart from the fact that it was quite a slap with the ball. I didn't even look over to the guy, and I actually wish I had of now. But I never even looked over. I just kept running, thinking to myself, that was quite a slap. And thought nothing of it. And 2 days later, I lined up for the Clonee 10K. I was actually going for my sub 40 10K that night. But as I started to warm up, I noticed I started to limp, and my left leg was quite sore. And I didn't know why I had done my stretching. I don't really tend to get injuries or anything like that. But I just said maybe I'd warm up and start the race. And if there was an issue, I would pull out. And I think 1.5 kilometers into the race, I was doing really well, but the limb got real bad, so I just pulled out. And kind of that's where the story began, I suppose.
It's an incredible incident. Like to think that 30 people were with you and it just happened to strike your leg, and then you went for treatment because of the pulling out of that race.
Yeah. So what happened was basically over the next 4 or 5 weeks, the pain just started getting so bad, so bad, so bad. And I was there thinking to myself, I couldn't run or anything. I could barely walk actually. And because I was limping around the place. And I remember cursing that guy in my head, thinking he's caused me muscle damage now, and I'm not going to get to run my sub 3 hour attempt in Cologne that October. And I was cursing the guy in my head, thinking, I just can't believe it. Like, whatever damage it's done. But it got so bad, I pushed with when the physio couldn't figure it out, and when the doctor couldn't figure it out, I pushed for an MRI. And basically, in the exact spot where that ball smashed off my leg, right above my left knee, was a really big tumor, right? It was actually so big that it had eaten through my bone, and they put me on a crutch and said, until we figure this out, you're not to put your foot on the ground because it could actually shatter. Your leg could shatter where the tumor was. And it turned out to be cancerous, which was just baffling. It was baffling because of no side effects whatsoever, no injuries, no weird pains or feelings, nothing. And and I just ran the Manchester Marathon in April. And this was June, I found out about the issue with my leg. So it was just so baffling and such a shock. I don't smoke, don't drink, so it's not something you expect to be told,
Yeah, a healthy person. And how old were you back then?
32.
Right. Yeah.
And I was the fittest I've ever been in my entire life. I ran the Manchester Marathon 2 months before the ball hit me, I think, in 3 hours and 6 minutes. So it was not a bother on me.
That's crazy.
And so when I was brought into the specialist in St. Vincent's Hospital, he gave me the diagnosis that it was in fact cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He started talking about what they were going to need to do. He actually told me it was stage 4, which is the highest, like the worst level you can get. It's stage 1 to stage 4. Stage 4 is the worst. And he said, it is treatable, but we're just going to have to treat you really hard. And he started telling me about the treatment and stuff. And I just said, all I really want to know is, can you get me back running? Because I suppose that I didn't really want to hear about the treatment. I just said, we're going to need to do whatever we're going to need to do. And that's it. And he said he would. And he did. Basically, it was very, very intense treatment. And he said he was only able to treat me with the level of treatment that he was providing because of my age and because of my fitness, because he said it was the heaviest stuff he could give to a person. I think I was in hospital from about September to February, basically, for the treatment, and got the all clear early 2016. So I'd had a lot of chemo, a lot of radiation, got the all clear, but I relapsed later at the end of 2016, which was quite a shock. It was only 9 months after getting the all clear that I relapsed. So obviously for a person who's gone through stage 4 cancer, to relapse so fast was quite a bad sign. So it was quite shocking to find that out towards the end of 2016.
How long did treatment for the relapse take, or how long was that?
Well, you see, one thing I probably didn't mention is that the cancer had actually spread. So it was actually in both my legs and even up to my sinus and stuff like that. So it had gone quite bad. But I think I started treatment in December and January, and then I had a bone marrow transplant in March. So yeah, probably about 3 months of treatment. And the kind of big worry was that in order for you to have a bone marrow transplant, you have to be all clear from cancer first. So they have to treat you with heavy chemo, full body radiation to get your body clear from cancer, to then give you the transplant. It's the best way that the transplant will actually work. So it was obviously a big concern that they had to get me there first to have a transplant. And I think basically the transplant was actually my last chance. So it really, really needed to work. All my brothers and family got tested to see if they'd be a match. And my brother, Jonathan, was a 100% match. They do a test called the chimerism test. And it's just to test the match percentage of a person's bone marrow. And he was 100%. And I got the all clear in February and had the transplant in March. So yeah, it was just mental. It was quite mental, really, the way it worked out. But I was very lucky that to have someone that was 100% match for me, because obviously that increases your chances of it working. So yeah, it was just like it's really unusual, because even though I've gone through 2 battles now and stuff, which has been just the most difficult thing ever. It's like, but everything that actually needed to go right for me went right. Like having someone in my family that had 100% match, to be able to be given the all clear to have the transplant. So it's funny, when things needed to go right, they did, and I'm still here now. So I'm quite a lucky guy, you know.
Well, if you were never hit with that football, do you reckon that would have been detrimental? Like,
the specialist did say to me, like, if that hadn't happened, it might have been too late, because the cancer had already spread throughout my body. It had spread to my sinus, which obviously it was my sphenoid sinus right up here, just behind my nose, and it's very close to your brain. And it was already stage 4 and aggressive by the time they first diagnosed me. So if he hadn't have hit my ball, the specialist said either one of the days out, because I was running 5 days a week, obviously, for the marathon training. He said one or two things might have happened. One of them was my leg would have shattered on a run one day, because the tumor had literally eaten through my bone. And the second thing is I might not have made it. He's like, they only just got me in the door. I mean, from finding out, I was put through like top of the list to get treated, because it was that close. So it's just like, yeah, that guy who hit me with the ball, it's just like those guys I think used to play every day that week, like every day each week. I'm just thinking, if I had looked up to see, like, you know, he might have gone, oh, sorry, or something, I would be like, no bother. I totally could have gone back and found out who that guy was, and because he has no idea he saved my life, no idea. And where I was cursing him in my head for ages, he's actually the guy who saved my life. And that's just it's just a crazy thought, really, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
When you were going through those treatments, and like you've mentioned, like that consultant seems like a really solid, hard-working medical practitioner. I just want to get I was just wondering, like, how does a cancer diagnosis changes how your perspective of relationships and the people in your life, be it friends, family, like you must, it must, the importance of having companionship must be, without doubt, so strengthening.
Unreal. And I think they say this about everything, but for anyone who goes through any sort of a difficult period in their lives, it shows a lot about the people around you. It shows who are really there for you, and what people will actually do for you. Like, I think, because I had to stay in hospital for my treatment, because it was, my chemo regimen was like 24 hours a day, 5 days in a row. Basically, but there's one thing I didn't want to be seen as was just a hospital number. So the first thing I did when I was brought into my room was I brought in my running photos from some of the races, and I put it up on the notice board in my room, and I actually hung my running medals, like my marathon medals, off the trip, so that when nurses or doctors came to see me and chat to me, that they'd actually know me as the guy who loves running, and not just to be just another patient or a chart number. But so I suppose firstly that was quite cool, because like I'd get into chats with the doctors and nurses, and they used to refer to me as the marathon man or the marathon runner and stuff, and I like that, you know. So it built up a good connection with the people who are literally going to be just helping to keep you alive and get you going again. So that was the first part. But I suppose I'm just so lucky to have the family and friends and partner that I do to help get me through the years, because I don't think there was a single day that I was in hospital where I didn't have someone holding my hand, or sitting beside the bed beside me, or like I would have been asleep a lot because of the level of treatment. And even if I was asleep, people would come and they'd just sit and read a paper in the room, and sometimes I'd barely see people or get to talk to them, but they'd be there. And I actually couldn't have gotten through what I got through without the support of my family, my friends, my girlfriend Neve, who is now my fiance. And it's just, yeah, it says a lot about the people around you, like how people just really take charge and look after you so well. Even people with stuff going on, we all have stuff going on in our own lives. Every single person in this world has something or some sort of difficulties going on in their own lives. So no matter what they were going through, they were always there for me, and I just can't thank them all enough. It's just amazing what people will do for you when you really need them. So yeah.
And you and Eve were only together 6 months, and now, you know, hopefully post-COVID you'll be married.
Yeah. Like, I really feel for her, because, and for us and for our relationship, because we were together 6 months. We'd moved in with each other after 4 or 5 months, I think it was, because we were just meant to be. The minute I met her, I was like, I knew she was the one, you know. And 6 months we were given, and, you know, obviously, like they say, it's the butterfly period at the start, you know, the first year and stuff, where really it's just everything is like magical or whatever. But like, to take that away from us after 6 months, and to have to turn to your partner and go, yeah, I've got cancer. And like, you don't know someone that well after 6 months. You know them to a good degree, and people will always have a good sense of, you know, if they think that this is going to work out and stuff. But then to have to tell someone that you've just been diagnosed with cancer, is just, yeah. So we haven't really had a chance for our relationship to just go the normal route whatsoever, because not only did we have to go through it once, we had to go through it twice. It's a long recovery as well because of what I went through. So I feel like it's only really since last year we're starting to get a chance to actually be a proper couple. So yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. And then bloody COVID came, so it's just like come on, guys, give us a chance. Like, last year we had plans to just go on lots of city breaks around Europe and do all these cool things, and then sure, we ended up being isolated for the year like everyone else. So it's just been just like, come on, give us a chance, like, will you? So yeah, we're hopefully going to get married this year, so and hopefully get to start enjoying our lives a bit more. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah. You must love traveling. I mean, the fact that you were in Thailand and then came back when it came back the second time. Yeah, I just can only imagine that the emotions, like, oh, I'm over it the first time now, I can just enjoy this break, and then to be landed with that when you come back, Janie, man.
Yeah, well, basically, I got back running that summer and everything, and I was like in hospital. There was one machine, there was like a cycling machine in hospital, a non-weight bearing cycling machine in hospital. There was only one on the floor, and it was in my room the whole time. So between chemo sessions and stuff, when I had a bit of energy, I used to keep my legs going by doing a bit of cycling, because I was like, I literally just, running was just everything to me. So I wanted to make sure that whatever state I was in, my legs were ready to go when I was able. And I got back running, and we chose Thailand as a dream holiday for 3 weeks to put the first cancer diagnosis behind us and to begin our lives together. And a few days after getting home was when I ended up back in hospital. So yeah, it was just such a shock to go from 3 weeks in Thailand to 2 weeks later being told your cancer's back and you need a transplant. So it was just horrible. But I remember sitting in my hospital bed and saying, I'm going to do something when I get out of hospital give back to charities, to give back to the Irish Cancer Society, to create something positive out of my bad experience. And because I loved running so much, that's when I decided to establish the Never Give Up run, which I've done in my local village in Inch, just outside of Gorey there. I actually decided, basically the specialist had told me after the transplant that if I make it 2 years, I'd have a 95% chance of surviving. But that the first 12 months is absolutely critical, and then 2 years you should be okay, like in normal circumstances. So I set up the 5K, 10K run in aid of the Irish Cancer Society in Inch in the summer to celebrate my 2-year anniversary. And that's what I did. And it was just the most amazing day ever. So I'm so happy to have done that.
Yeah. And that's a recurring thing, Chris, isn't it? You're going to do it annually. It's happened a couple of times.
Yeah, so I'd only actually planned to do it once just to make a big effort. And so I'd only actually planned to do it once, but it just, everyone loved it so much, and it brought such, like, the whole point of that for me was to basically bring people together for like a fun, positive experience while raising money for charity. And we raised 19.5 grand in the first year. But I just enjoyed the experience so much, and the stories that people would email me or tell me about the people who were taking part, why they were taking part, who they were taking part for, or perhaps in memory of a family member who passed away due to cancer and stuff. And I just realized how important it is. So I keep it up as an annual event now. For anyone that's watching, all you have to do is just go on Facebook and look at the event page. It's actually, because it's called the Never Give Up event, it's just Never Give Up Chris Proby if they look on Facebook. So they can come onto the page and just have a look what it's all about. But yeah, we're hoping to have it again this year, and this year it's in aid of Arklow Cancer Support and the Irish Cancer Society. And we launched there a couple of weeks ago on the anniversary day of my transplant, actually. So I actually, every year, I'll show you, every year just to celebrate. I basically, every year I get a running jersey, and I basically put how many years I'm in the all clear just as a celebration, and then I'll wear this, then just got my name on it. And I just think every year, so now this is about to be retired, and I'm going to get my 4-year singlet done up. But I just think it's a great way to kind of celebrate it, because it's such a special kind of time of year for me, you know?
Yeah. It's a really impressive medal as well, and it takes place it's going to be 11th of July, is that right? Or mid-July?
Yeah, between the 1st and the 11th of July. So obviously with COVID, we're not sure yet if we can hold it on the day. So I've opened up registration now for a virtual entry only, but closer to the time, if it looks like we're going to be allowed to hold an outdoor event for up to 200 people, I think it's based on level 1 restrictions. I'm hoping to switch that there is an on-the-day event. But we have loads of people. We've already had 150 people sign up, so it's actually doing really well. And it's only open since about, I think it's the 2nd or 3rd of March. So it's great, because I see some running clubs and some work communities getting together to think about putting out a team to do it and stuff like that. As I said, it's for Arklow Cancer Support and the Irish Cancer Society. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I really do hope we can have an on-the-day event, but we'll just have to wait to see closer. But just for anyone, even, they can just come onto my Facebook page and say hello. It's, as I said, it's just, if they search Never Give Up Chris Proby, it's on it. I also created a little running group for some people that might want to come on and post their runs and stuff. So it's the Never Give Up Runners Forum. So yeah, that's the event was supposed to be just a 1-year thing, but I'm keeping it up every year. But every year I try to promote something, you know, that I find really important. And as you guys mentioned, I was on the Dermot and Dave show there during the week. Because I'm trying to this year put a good focus on the Irish blood transfusion service. Basically, I can't tell you how important it is that people donate blood, how far it goes, blood and platelets. To be honest with you, I'd never heard of platelets before I was in hospital, really. Like, I didn't really know what they were used for, but I needed so much blood and platelet donations during my time in hospital that I just started to really realize how important it is. So I was just on the Today FM just explaining to people how far that goes, whether it's for leukemia patients or cancer patients, just how important that donating blood or platelets is. I think it's the giveblood.ie website if people want to have a look.
Yeah.
But there were times where I actually couldn't begin my treatment until my body was topped up with platelets or my body was topped up with blood, and my treatment had to be as fast as possible on a very short turnaround. So there were times where I was slightly delayed until someone came into the hospital and donated platelets. So I just realized that year when I needed it myself how important that stuff is. So that's what I'm trying to promote this year, just for people to have a look maybe at the website to see if it might be something that they'd think about doing.
Yeah, certainly, Chris. It's something actually. I think I've given blood twice during COVID, and it's a lot. It's just, it only takes around 20 or 25 minutes, and you get a cup of tea afterwards. And everyone is so grateful that you're there. You know, they make a thing of it, even though there's hundreds of other people there. You know, so they you know, you get it, and you get it. I think everyone enjoys getting the text knowing where their blood has gone, you know, whether it's Beaumont or whatever. It's it connects you with people more. I was going to ask you, Chris, earlier, why is running such a great love of yours? Because it's a constant theme of your life, you know, pre-cancer and post-cancer.
Don't know, like I did a year traveling around the world back a good while ago, back in 2007 and 2008, and basically when I got home I wanted to get in shape and I got myself a bike. I joined Southeast Road Club there and did racing with them for a couple of years, and I just really enjoyed cycling, got fit, got in shape, and my sister loves running and stuff like that. And she turned to me one day and goes, I'm doing the Kildare half marathon at the end of the year. Do you want to do it with me? And so I said, yeah, why not? Didn't know what a half marathon was, lads. I'll be quite honest. Didn't know the distance, didn't know much about running. I was never a runner when I was younger. And so it's kind of weird that my first event was a half marathon as opposed to a 5K or a 10K. It was literally my sister asking me if I wanted to run the half marathon, and I just started training for it throughout the year between cycling as well, and I absolutely loved it. And just from then on, I was like, let's keep this up. Loved it. And there hasn't been a single day since I was diagnosed or in hospital that I didn't think to myself, I'm not going to get back running, or it's just like, when can I run again? And that's it. And my recovery has been very bumpy. And it's still going to have bumps along the way just because what my body's been through, but I'll never lose that love for wanting to go out for a run. So I don't know if I'll ever make my sub 3 hour attempt, but I do have to say it probably would be a dream to run a marathon again, just for fun, just to be able to do it again, to cross the finish line, because I'd ran 3 up until I got sick, and I just love the endurance running. I just love being outside, love the fresh air. Like, there was so much time in hospital. For example, my transplant took place over a 5-week period in hospital, in one room, in one small room. It was not good. 5 weeks isolated, because your immune system is non-existent. You can't open a window. They're actually locked. So no fresh air, and you're isolated in a room. So I know it sounds mad, but the day I walked out of the hospital after 5 weeks, I was nearly high on fresh air. I just took that big breath of fresh air, because when that's taken away from you, you have no idea how much you miss it. But ever since I took up cycling and stuff, I've just loved training outside. Outside is my gym. And I think just with running, I just love, I'm more of a solo runner as well. Like, I like to run with friends the odd time and stuff as well, but I just love being able to go out for a nice long run. It's just peaceful just peaceful, and you're out in the fresh air, and it's just rain, hail, or snow, or sunshine, I'll still go out. Like, I just kind of love it that much, yeah. So, but it's obviously been a huge factor of what got me through, through the hospital treatments and stuff like that. Was just like my focus on what run will I first do when I get out of hospital, and yeah, as kind of that was a big part, and having the medals and the pictures and stuff that kept me motivated, you know.
Yeah, it seems like goal setting has always been at the core of your purpose and your recovery.
Yeah, it has. And my recovery started from walking out the house to walking to the first lamppost. I was on crutches for 6 months because my leg was so badly damaged until it recovered, which thankfully it has now. And it's just, I think my first goal was to walk the Timon Park Run, because I live obviously in Dublin now, and there's a Timon Park Run right beside me. And I said, I must get involved in the park run, because I hadn't at that stage. And yeah, so my first goal was to walk the 5K Timon Park Run. And so Timon Park Run will always be a really special place for me, because it's where my recovery began. And once I could walk it, I jogged it, and then eventually ran it. So it's been a great way to help with my recovery, having the Timon Park Run, because it's so great having it as just a fun thing to do on a Saturday, and people are so supportive, and the volunteers are supportive. And I volunteer now down at the park run, obviously pre-COVID when we were allowed. But yeah, goals have gotten me through, I suppose. So I am quite a goal-orientated person. So they've definitely helped to get me through. It's kind of, even I was saying to people on my Facebook event page, is just that our event is obviously in July, which is the middle of the summer. And I just thought it's a great time to open the event now for people to set their summer goals, because I know a lot of people like to get in shape for the summer, and, you know, we might have been picking out over Christmas and over winter and stuff like that, especially with COVID. And I just think it's a good time of year to start setting your goals for the summer. And, you know, the weather's getting brighter, the days are getting longer, it's getting milder, and it's a great time to just set some goals for the year, and help motivate us, get us out the door.
Yeah, it seems like gratitude is a theme of your recovery, when you think of your family and Wolfpack, as you call them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here without them. That's it. I wouldn't have coped without them. They've literally done everything for me. Everyone that's been involved, like my own family, Neve's family, which are like my own family now, my Wolfpack, all my friends, all the people on my Facebook page who send me supportive stuff. Yeah, I just wouldn't be here without those people. And it's as simple as that. So I can't really thank those people enough. And I really hope they all know that. It's the same as the people donating blood and the platelets and joining the bone marrow transplant register. I just really do hope that those people really understand how far their donations are going, because it is literally life-saving. One of the days that I couldn't start my treatment, I was just waiting, and they were waiting to get me going, and I couldn't because my platelet count was too low. And they let me know that a guy has literally just come into the hospital. He's at the other side of the hospital, and he's given his platelets now. They're going to get them, clean them up, bring them down to me, and I can start my treatment. And it's just like, I hope that guy was told just how far his donation was going, because literally life-saving. So it's kind of incredible to think about it.
Yeah, we don't hear enough about it, really. I never knew, like, you know, give blood or whatever. It's just sort of something you do, or like, but I never knew the importance of it until I started listening to Chris's story. And then, like, you know, I've been inspired now to go give blood. I'd never given blood before. Initially it was because I had too many tattoos too soon or something, I think. And then I sort of left that as an excuse, and I was like, oh sure, whatever. But now I am, I signed up, and I'd encourage anyone listening to sign up as well after listening to this, for how important it is. We don't really understand it.
Yeah.
So
I'd be the same as yourself, because, you know, my mom and dad are absolutely amazing. My family are at giving blood. They always have been. My dad's got the little gold badge for giving blood, and my mom's almost there. And I obviously would have given blood as well, and I kind of know about that, but I never would have thought about platelets and stuff. And now I realize how important it is. And also, like when I gave blood, I never really understood where it went. I just know like it's needed in hospitals and stuff for people going through operations and stuff. But when I've seen the other side of it now, and that's why I really wanted to use this year and again use my story to promote it. So just to try do some more good out of what happened. So it's great to be able to promote it a bit. So thanks.
As you come out the other side, Chris, from like your recovery, I think like some of the simple wisdom is to enjoy every day and make it count. Is that your message? Yeah.
Yeah, it literally is. And I know it sounds mad, but just enjoy being able to go outside in the fresh air. Like we're all having such a tough time because of COVID, and we're all getting tired of it like that. No one can deny that, but to be able to still be able to go outside and just enjoy the fresh air with your family and stuff is huge. But yeah, enjoy the small things. Like I can't tell you how appreciative, and I think people will have really felt this over the last year as well, but I can't tell you how appreciative I've been, how much I looked forward to just going for a cup of tea with my friends after I got out of hospital, just going somewhere for a cup of tea and to be able to chat normally and stuff like that. And it's those little moments that really make life. So yeah, that's probably what I've taken. You just never know when something might happen, so you just have to enjoy it while you can, and just make the most of every day, and make the most of the small things, because they really, really matter to you when they're taken away from you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, thanks a million, Chris. That was very, very humbling. And one thing I'd like people to take away from this most is to donate blood and to get involved with the run as well. Chris is run in July.
Yeah, I've signed up, so I got the early bird. The early bird is closed now, so there won't be. Well, tomorrow it's closed, but
yeah. What I love is you can walk it, you can run it, just whatever you feel like doing. You can take the dog for a walk. It's just really to support. It's to support Arklow Cancer Support. It's to support the Irish Cancer Society, and it's just a nice goal for the summer. So, as I said, anyone can just pop on my page, Never Give Up Chris Proby, or just say hello to me if you want, or tell me your story, anything. Just come say hi and whatnot. But yeah, no, anytime.
Yeah, thanks a million again, Chris.
Chris,
Cheers,
thanks for that.
guys.
Look after yourself.
Take care. Best of luck.